I'm sure a lot of people would want to be here, but they have to work. Please always remember that I'm in Germany, and Central European time right now is 1 a.m. So as much as I would like to do it when you guys are not working, that's kind of hard to do. I'm sure you understand. Yeah. So everybody needs to have their camera on. I'm going to give you a second to do so. Uh, one second. I want to see those people. Okay. Am I co-host? I'm not. Okay. Yeah, you're co-host. Okay, good. Now, Mr. No Name needs to go. And is he gone? Okay. And everybody else has their camera on. Wonderful. Great. Okay, so we can start. So in the video that I posted, where I was announcing this live stream, this lecture today, Temple Service, I was talking about unlocking secrets of the mind. Yeah. What do I mean by that? I mean by that different abilities, literally things that people consider to be superpowers, impossible, just things that are not normal and not possible for most people. There's a reason for why it's not possible for them. We need to understand the structure of the universe, and we need to understand how things come into being. And as we do that, we will be able to understand the structure of our own mind and how we can break the rules that other people have created. But these rules are artificial, right? So let's begin with an example of something that is solid. Let's use a liquid, okay? A liquid that is not water, because water has this anomaly. There's an anomaly with water where the solid state is less dense than the liquid state. This is usually not the case. There are no absolutes in this universe, so in 99.99999% of the cases, it's different than with water. So the most solid state is also the dense state. Okay. Now, solidity means low potential energy. Imagine potential energy as um, lifting something up, and now it has the potential to fall down. And as it falls down, it accumulates more energy and it can have an impact. Okay. Now, this is not 100% correct, but this is how you can imagine potential energy. There's a lot of potential there, a lot of potential that can happen. Now, solidity means there's little potential energy in it. It's already manifested. It is solidified. So low potential energy, solidity, and low frequency. Imagine the solid thing, this uh, the solid thing is now being heated up. As it is being heated up, its energy is increased, it vibrates faster, and now it becomes liquid. Its potential energy increases, meaning it can move faster, it has more forms it can take on as a liquid. Okay? It is more flexible and it can move faster. Okay, so the potential energy is increased. It gets less solid. So you keep heating it up, and now its vibration is increased even further, and now it becomes vaporous, becomes a gas. And that gas has even more potential energy in it. And the elements, meaning the molecules and the particles in that gas, are not solidified. They're not coagulating into dense things, so they're all over the place. So there's a lot of potential energy there. Very, very fast. They're moving very, very fast. And there's a lot of potential. Okay. A lot of different forms that it could take on. Now, this is essentially how existence works. Solid, low potential energy, very concrete. And on the opposite end of the spectrum, you have very, very high frequency, very, very high potential energy, and infinite potential. Okay. Now, when we take this to the extremes, to the extreme opposites of existence, we have absolute truth, infinite potential, and infinite energy up here. At the bottom, we have essentially the physical world, everything that you see around you. It's very solid. It is very concrete, meaning very, very little potential. You know, if something is extremely concrete, extremely solidified, it is a thing. Therefore, it has very little potential. On the other end of the spectrum, it can be anything. Okay? Infinite energy is also up there. Now, what does that have to do with unlocking powers of the mind? And how do we use that? Why is it so important to understand that? Maybe you watched the live stream that I did yesterday, or maybe you watched some videos in which I was talking about truth, which is an extremely important topic. Truth is also found up there. The closer you get to truth, the more you're going to move into infinite potential, infinite energy, and infinite, less and less restriction. A truth is defined as all four parts of the physical universe being clear about something. Okay, so matter, energy, space, and time. Who was involved? Energy means what was the sequence of events, or what was the flow of the elements. I mean, when we talk about energy, we have particles in motion. That's really what energy is. So who was involved? Matter, energy, what was the flow of events, the sequence of events, space, where did it happen, and time, when did it happen? When we have all of those elements about something, we know the truth about it. Now, truth is a force that can be characterized by those four, but it is a quality in itself. And what it does is it takes things from a lower frequency up to a higher frequency. We live in a world and a society. Let's not call it world. Let's not blame the universe for that. The state of our species is very, very much about untruth. We're unfortunately, we live in a society where the air is pretty much contaminated with so much untruth that it makes things very, very heavy. See, truth is that direction. Untruth is this direction. By the way, a lie is not the opposite of truth. Okay, a lie is characterized as intentionally changing one or more of those factors that I just mentioned. That's a lie. You intentionally change the truth in order to create confusion or to lie or to get out of trouble or whatever, right? That's a lie. That's not the opposite of truth. Truth is moving upwards towards less and less restriction. Untruth is the opposite. So you could say that the opposite of truth is really just confusion and heaviness. So since people don't know how to navigate the mental universe, they will live in a universe of untruth, and they will also have the ability to communicate their untruth. The problem is that when they communicate, this is not just something etheric. This is real energy. Communication is the exchange of energy. So as you're speaking to someone and they communicate their untruth, which exists in their mind, and in the society, unfortunately, we have a 99% chance of running into people that speak mostly untruth. What's going to happen to your mind is, since you are now the receiver of that communication, your mind is going to become heavier. Okay. Now, let's look at the structure of consciousness and their body and how they're connected. You have a physical body, you have an energy field around it. You know, we don't have to go into the details of how it's structured, but let's call that the mind. Okay. The mind is the energy field around your body, around your physical body. And then you have your spirit, your consciousness, which is experiencing through those two. Okay. Imagine a cat right now. Imagine a cat. The consciousness or the consciousness that is looking at the cat and is seeing the cat, experiencing the cat, that is you. Okay. Your mind is not your brain. Your mind is essentially an energy field all around your physical body that can be used. And the mind is also capable of, or you are capable of using your mind to generate thought forms. And when you focus on those thought forms long enough, they will accumulate energy around themselves, and it will create a physical situation, thing, whatever, right? But more on that later. Now, communication, like I said, is the exchange of energy. So communication really has the ability to create things, right? Now, unfortunately, the consciousness of most people is not very refined. So they're speaking a lot of untruth because you can only speak from your own personal mental universe, right? I think that makes sense. What else could you be speaking? You can only speak your own mind, right? So most people are not aware that they're this thing, and they live in a universe full of untruth. Their mind is full of untruth, heaviness. So they speak that, and the effect of that is going to be that confusion is going to perpetuate itself within you. And the result of that is going to be heaviness. So when you listen to someone and you don't feel lighter, freer, yeah, freedom is the best, more space. That's the best way I can put it. That person is not speaking truthfully. And that's not even intentional. Remember, that's not about lie or I mean, I'm not saying that the opposite of truth is not lie. Now, of course, if somebody lies, that would have a similar or the same effect. But most people are not doing that intentionally. They're literally speaking their own mind, and their mind is so full of untruth that it contaminates the air. And you are now the victim of their bad communication and the content that they're spilling out. Okay, so um, truth, on the other hand, has the ability to cut through any untruth. Okay, truth has the ability to cut through any untruth, any lie, and it um, transmutes untruth essentially. Okay, so what does that look like? Remember what I said about the different frequencies and the opposite ends. When lies or untruth enters your mind, you will feel heavy, low frequency emotion, and it will feel as if something, if yeah, you're getting heavier. With that, your consciousness is going to be pulled into the thing, okay, into what has been communicated. It's going to be pulled into it. Remember, your consciousness experience is not identical with your body. It's not identical with your mind. It is experiencing through the mind. And the consciousness can be pulled into heavy things. You know, thoughts are part of the physical universe. They have real mass. Okay, so they can develop a gravitational pull in which your consciousness is being pulled into the thought, and you will then experience that as a scene around you, or as if you're stuck in it. Okay, you experience that every day. You hear something, your consciousness is being pulled into it, and you're now in that scene, or you can't get rid of that thought. You're just stuck there. Okay. Now, why is that? As spiritual beings, we have a job to do here. yeah, which is bringing order to chaos. Okay, this end of the spectrum is order. This end of the spectrum is chaos. Understanding, truth, order is all up here. Everything else is down here. So consciousness has a tendency to try to solve untruth. It tries to bring order to the chaos. So now it gets stuck there because it's trying to solve this problem, you see? Now, without the right techniques and without the right knowledge and without the right powers that bring truth to all of this mess, there's a tendency that the consciousness will get stuck in more and more and more of those untruths. And eventually those things will be forgotten, but they will by no means lose their power. In fact, their power over the being is going to increase. The less conscious the influence, the more power it has over the individual. As you release those, they become conscious again, and you gain your power back. Okay, so truth has the ability to cut through all of those things. It lifts up your consciousness, it brings you back into clarity, and increases the potential. Remember what I said earlier about solidity and potential. The more solid something is, the more specific something is, the less potential it has, and the less energy is in it. Okay? The more elevated something is, the more potential there is, and the more can be done with it. And the same applies to your consciousness. So, what does all of this lead to? Your superpowers, the abilities of your mind, from reality manipulation to telepathy to telekinesis to um, you know, remote viewing to out of body travels, all of these things, to spirit communication, all of those abilities are essentially stuck within untruth. Within, when I say untruth, I'm talking about ideas and thoughts that are sucking up the energy of your consciousness, and they're preventing the spirit from operating freely. Your spirit has the ability to do all of those things that I just mentioned. However, as long as it is stuck in all of those there are many of those, all of those unconscious untruths that it is stuck in. Let's call it confusions. As long as it is stuck there, it will not be able to access those abilities because it is stuck in a certain level of consciousness. You see, reality responds to the frequency of your consciousness. If you meet an individual and they tell you that telekinesis is absolutely impossible, they are absolutely right at their frequency. At their frequency, it's not possible. For their consciousness, it's not possible. However, if they were to go through a release of all of those untruths, and in that process, their consciousness will rise up again to the higher frequency, now all of those things would all of a sudden become possible. You see? These two people could share the same room, but they would be literally in different universes with different things that are possible. Okay. What is the consequence out of all of that? In order to develop and unlock all the powers that are in your mind, you need certain practices that on a regular basis, I mean, if you take it serious on a daily basis, release your consciousness from all of those things that it gets stuck in. I'll tell you what, I've been doing this for a very, very long time. I still get stuck in those things. It's just part of living in this physical body and this universe. You will hear untruth and it will suck up your consciousness. You will experience certain things and you will keep wondering why. You lack understanding about something, it captures your consciousness. So you need techniques. And there are physical techniques as well as mental techniques, and both of those need to be practiced on a daily basis. But as you practice those on a reliable basis, you will not only raise your consciousness back up reliably, but over time, you will get into deeper and deeper layers of this untruth that your consciousness is stuck in. Remember, you're carrying not only one lifetime, you carry many lifetimes of these energy particles that have captured part of your consciousness and with that part of your power and have removed you from the truth. Your original state is all knowing, all powerful, and omnipresent. That is your original state. The original state of your spirit has no limitations. It is all powerful everywhere and can do anything. But the many, many lifetimes of your journey through the physical universes and planets and species and forms and so on and so forth, traumas, you've been everything probably. You've been probably everything on the whole spectrum. You've been the perpetrator, you've been the torturer, you've been the victim, you've been this, that, and the other. You've had a lot of jobs and a lot of incarnations. And all of those things have been recorded. You have, as you process all of these things, you can create a time track over many lifetimes and you will be able to release all of those, right? But this is part of our infinite initiation system, of course, right? But the foundation that must be there, the daily practices that must be there, include physical practice as well as mental practices that keep you out of being trapped into these untruths. And with that, you will maintain clarity, consciousness, truth, and maintain your ability to do things that others would consider impossible. Okay. When you reach those levels, and you can do that reliably and powerfully, you will run into another problem, which is basically your ethical code. And as you, because what you can do is essentially the following thing. Let me describe it like that. Your memories and when you think something, it is being generated by your mind. Remember the structure. You have a physical body. Your mind is essentially a field of energy around your body, and then you have your spirit, which is experiencing through all of those. The spirit or your consciousness can generate images. It can also access images. It can generate new ones. It can access new ones. It can access old ones, existing ones. Now, how are those activated? I asked you earlier to think of a cat or to imagine a cat. But how did that happen? How did that happen? How were you able to pull up the image of a cat? Your spirit, your consciousness was activating a specific frequency. It was using a frequency to activate a specific image in your energy field. And that was then being shown to your inner sensory apparatus. It's kind of like activating a specific TV channel or a radio frequency, or your phone dialing into a website. But those are all frequencies. I hope you understand how these things work, right? Like when you dial into a website, your phone is tuning into a specific frequency, so to speak, right? So what I'm trying to say is essentially your system works kind of like the same way, and so when you remember something or generate an image, you're activating a frequency within your own energy field. I'm sure you've experienced a situation in which you were close to somebody and involuntarily you kept thinking certain thoughts. You had certain feelings. And it wasn't you. You knew that was not you. Where is this shit coming from? sometimes it even hits you out of nowhere. Like there's not even somebody close, and shit like that happens. Well, you can create or you can activate frequencies within your own minds, but with a little bit of more focus, you can activate images in other people's minds as well. Easy. It's so easy. It's not even funny. Now, for that to happen though, or for you to do that intentionally, not just in your own mind. In your own mind, that's quite easy, right? You need to have a certain level of clarity. Now, if you're completely, how do I say that? Completely in confusion, that's going to be hard. Imagining something in your own mind. But let's say you have a high energy level still, or high enough to imagine something within yourself, or to activate an image within yourself. It just takes a slightly higher energy level to generate these images in another person's mind, because you can just focus on a frequency. You know, you can basically focus on the frequency within yourself, and that automatically, if it's strong enough, that frequency is going to transfer induction to the energy field of the other person, and their minds is going to experience that. Okay, this is how you can do mind control. This is also the basis of a lot of spells that you do. This is also how spirits, by the way, operate. When you send out a spirit to do that for you, this is what's happening. You do the evocation, you tell the spirit, I want you to do this and that and the other. I want you to influence this person in that way. What's going to happen is the spirit's going to disappear from here and attach itself to the energy field of the other person, and then keep activating a specific frequency. This is how it works. And the person is not going to be, and truthfully, most thoughts that pop into a person's mind are not consciously decided upon. Even the decisions that people make on what to do, that's not a conscious decision. That's unconscious mind. A frequency that's activated, a routine that runs and makes the person do whatever it is that the subconscious has decided. And when you hijack the subconscious, which is what we're doing here, that's basically what it is, you know. Once again, I'm not recommending that you do any of those things, but you could use that in psychic seduction, in which I mean, you can make the person feel and think about you whatever it is that you want. Essentially, it's all a matter of how strong you make that happen, and it's also a question if they're comfortable with that or not, right? So, but the point is, the person that is in complete confusion, tired, low energy level, is not going to be, they're going to have a hard time imagining things within their own mind with any amount of clarity. Okay, which means that it takes a certain energy level and clarity, and see how they're both connected. Energy level and clarity, truth, they're all interconnected. It takes a certain level in order to activate that within yourself. And then it takes a little higher level to activate that in other people. Okay. And this is essentially how many other things work. Abilities of the mind are highly dependent on the energy level. Now, for most of you right now, a whole lot of your energy is being sucked up by these untruths that are in your energy field. Potential energy that needs to be released and brought back under control so that you can use it and do all of those great things. Okay. So truth is the thing that cuts through all of those confusions and releases that energy. Okay. Like I said, truth can be characterized not as a concept, but let's make it concrete. Truth is characterized as four factors being clear. Who was involved? Matter. Energy. What was the sequence? Remember, energy is particles in motion. And energy always is a flow of something. You know, energy is movement. For energy to be present, something has to be moving. So in this case, who, matter, energy, in what sequence was it taking place? Space, where did it take place? And T, time. When did it take place? And when you have all of those factors about an occurrence, you will feel a release of energy. Your emotional state is going to go higher, and you're going to attain back the energy that was stuck there. Most things that, I mean, if you spend a day at work, at night, your mind is going to repeat certain scenes that happen throughout the day. And most of those scenes that you're repeating are not even dangerous or anything. In fact, you're annoyed that they keep running in your mind. At the bottom of it all, there's confusion. You don't understand why that happened. And this is why part of your consciousness is stuck in that situation. Not understanding in this case is not all the four factors are there. Now, in interpersonal relationships, that's a little confusing, especially with strangers, because you have no idea how they perceive the situation. Everybody has their own idea about reality. Everybody has their own, essentially, reference point. So you don't even know how they perceive the same situation. So now their behavior doesn't make sense. And that is what's keeping your mind stuck. If you work around a lot of people, you're gonna have this problem on a regular basis, where some situation, interpersonal, with a complete stranger is gonna make your mind get stuck in it. It's because you're confused. There's confusion, untruth. There are techniques that work very well on how to release that, okay? And how to attain your energy back, and how to never get stuck in that bullshit again. And well, even if you get stuck in it, you can release that very, very fast. But this is also, of course, part of the infinite initiation system. I literally don't have the time right now to cover all of this and what's part of it. But please understand that whatever I described here as a problem already has a solution, and you will find this in the infinite initiation system. I'm going to give you complete control over your mind back, and with that, you're going to gain control over the world around you. Now, what I said earlier in terms of ethics and why they come into play is the following thing. Part of being in truth, let's put it like that. In order to truly become spiritually powerful, you must become a student of truth, and you must become a disciple of truth. The truth must become your God, for lack of a better word. Because that is the only thing that cannot be destroyed. There is no demon, no God, no nothing that can stand against the truth. The truth is the ultimate sword. It's the most powerful weapon in existence. It is what it is. Okay? So you must become a follower of truth. And you must guide your life based on that. You must also stay on purpose, but purpose is essentially your connection to truth. More on that later, right? So with that, you will find that certain actions weaken your connection to truth, and other actions strengthen your connection to truth. And you will find that ethical actions actually strengthen your connection to truth. Unethical actions weaken your connection to truth. Let's define ethical. Ethical means the best, or the decision that leads to the best possible outcome for the most amount of people or most areas of life. That is essentially what it is. Okay, ethical behavior would be now, first you have to take care of yourself, but then you ensure the survival and the continuous existence of as much of the universe as you can. That's ethical behavior. Okay. Now, if there is no other way to resolve a conflict, of course, destruction of the opposition is also part of that, right? Because self-preservation is extremely important, of course. You're not going to sacrifice yourself to save somebody else. But whenever you can, you're going to help as much as you can. You're going to preserve. This is ethics. And anyone who wants to learn this infinite initiation system is required to keep a very, very high ethical standard. This is not taken away from any kind of prosperity of you or whatever. I don't know. Like maybe you could think, okay, maybe you still have the mindset that for you to succeed, others have to lose or something. It's actually the opposite. Okay. There's nothing that you're going to lose from being ethical. In fact, you're going to win a lot. But a lot of people carry that untruth, especially in our society. A lot of people carry that untruth within them that they, in order for them to win, others have to lose. It's not like that. It's actually the opposite. Good. So another thing that you're going to see is that apart from ethical behavior keeping you on the path of truth, um, self-destruction is going to be part of deviating from that path. So if you still want to try that out for yourself, be my guest, but then this initiation system is not for you. You need to be willing to follow high ethical standards. And we all do. This is not about me making the rules. I'm a student of the truth, just like you. I'm just a little further along the path. And I'm sharing truths that I found with you. And I don't expect anyone to believe anything that I'm saying. I'm just suggesting that you try it out for yourself and prove it to yourself. And you will find that it is actually the truth. But that is absolutely up to you. So I'm sure you understand that I'm doing this live call, and I'm going to do many more to introduce you to the infinite initiation system. Right? A lot of you guys here, I can see people here. Donald, I can see Anthony, I can see. If I scroll down, I'll see many more who are already who have already joined us. So I want to extend an invitation for anyone who's here to join us there as well. Now, if you want to know more about what that infinite initiation system is, now of course we're going to go into a Q&A and you can ask questions about it. But my recommendation would be that you send an email to grailoftheserpent@protonmail.com. Grailoftheserpent@protonmail.com, and just type into the email that you request more information. Okay, and then I'm going to take you through a sequence, and you're going to learn what's necessary to make a decision, to make your mind up. Right? Good. So, please understand that this is the theoretical part of exercises that must be done physically and mentally, right? But we're not going to go through them now. We're going to do many other live calls in which we're probably going to cover some physical and mental techniques as well. But there's always two parts, or let's say three parts to it all. The logical understanding, then there's the physical practice, physical, because energy work is something very physical if you do it right. And then there's also mental work, which is building up the tool that we use to control the invisible universes. And please understand that the physical universe is the least important level of reality. Now, this is where we experience the results of our work, but it is actually the least important level of the craft. Okay. Good. I think I said everything I wanted to say. And let's go into the Q&A, please. Okay. Good. So all questions are none. Can you make the order more accessible to people from much lower average income countries? Those great loads of energy. Kareem, this is the, maybe put it like this. I think it is already extremely accessible, you know, and this is based on many factors, but I'm going to give you one. which is essentially my time. Okay, my time and the energy, and the benefits and the saving of time that is being provided. In reality, what people will learn there and can learn there is it cannot even put into uh, you can't put a price on that because you can become wealthy with it. You can do whatever it is that you want with it, right? But it's not about the money. It's not about the money, but uh, there's a flow of energy. There's a flow of energy. If you want to take something and make it your own, you have to leave something there. Okay. And it has to be something that is meaningful. It can't be too much, but and it also can't be too little. It has to be in proportion, if that makes sense. Okay. Now, I say that from the bottom of my heart. If I would charge $100,000 for people to do this, it would still not be enough, like monetarily speaking. Okay. People will spend 100,000 on a car that is nothing, absolutely like bullshit. It's nothing. It's meaningless. Now, obviously, I'm not going to do that, but it's still a significant. It means something. There is a meaning to the contribution, and that will allow the exchange to take place. If I just give this out for free, it's not going to do anything for people. They're not going to be able to accept it. It's like a subconscious energetic thing. Okay, I'm not just saying that. It's you. I'm sure you can prove that to yourself if you look back into your life. When you just took something, you will not be your unconscious is not able to value it because the energy exchange is not there. There's always a give and take at place, you know. And this is not a justification. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to justify because I know that what I'm charging is way too low. But uh, it is the right way to do it, and I've decided that, and no, it's not going to change. I see it as priceless information. I wouldn't ask for the free knowledge. Okay, good. Um, what is the difference between the school of adepts and infinite initiation of the new grail of the serpent? You can't compare the two. It's incomparable. It's literally incomparable. Okay, let me put it like this. School of adepts is something that is focused on witchcraft. The infinite initiation system is focused on godhood. Let's put it like that. It's there's levels upon levels upon levels upon levels, and the the goal of all witchcraft is to transform a human being into something more than a human being. That's the goal. I'm not saying that witchcraft can accomplish that. That is the goal. But as you will see and find when you study witchcraft for many decades and you run into a lot of magicians, even the most powerful ones uh, will will usually not accomplish that goal. The infinite initiation system will accomplish that goal, and you'll see, you'll see. But if the question is if the School of Adams is kind of like a replacement, it's these are not the same thing. In fact, how do I put this? Truthfully, this infinite initiation system is a new religion. Will be a religious movement. Will be a religious movement that is uh, probably going to surprise a lot of people to when it comes to the size that it's going to reach. It's much more complete, and it's my life's work, you could say. Okay. Any other questions? Thanks for clarifying. No problem. Welcome. Amazing lecture. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for attending. I'm glad everybody's here. Thank you for the live. Thank you. Thanks for being here. Good. So I'm going to put the email into the chat one more time. And just for those who did catch it, Grail of the Serpent at protonmail.com. So, okay. I would have one more question for you guys, which is essentially, I would like to know what your desires are, if that makes sense. Okay, what is it that you want to improve? What is it that you want to master? What is it that you want to know more about? Essentially, I want to know how to help you. So if you could just put that into the chat so I can kind of get an idea of what is required on your part, and so I can produce and deliver that. So into the chat, please type or let me know what area of life or what problems um, are important to you right now, or this or to what do you to what of those are you seeking for a solution? Physical immortality, yeah. Financial freedom. Can you consider that I pay like that humble monthly fees, but not the initial administrative fees because I don't have that? Okay, Kareem, this is not something that you should discuss in a chat uh, with 18 people watching. Okay, maybe you want to send me an email or something like that, but please don't do that here. It was a DM. Oh shit. Really? Yes, it was a DM. Yeah, please send an email, not here. Okay. My bad. DM. Yeah. So please send it as an email or something like that. Good. We had, let me see, financial freedom. We had physical immortality. We had learning more about knowledge and practices for godhood, strengthening connection to purpose. I want to be able to control and influence all aspects of my life and environment while simultaneously learning the true nature of the universe, survival of the upcoming years. Well, see, and Donald, you're about to get a document when it comes to that, but for all of you, um, part of the infinite initiation system is control over the physical universe. And when I say universe, I'm talking about the elements of it, which means you to restructure it to create what it is that you want. Which means, uh, see, understanding means when you understand something at the most basic level, you also understand how all things are connected and are essentially the same thing, just a different configuration of the same building blocks. So you will be able to bring order and control and full understanding to all areas of your life. Absolutely. Okay. Now, physical immortality, that is something that is reserved for the later stages. I don't even know if I should share that here. I'm gonna share uh, something about it here, Victor. Um, as much as I'm willing or as much as I'm willing to reveal right now, Victor. Okay, this is physical immortality. So, um, the infinite initiation system has the creation of infinites at at the helm of it, or as the goal of it. And part of that is the work on physical immortality. In the next 6 years, the main research and focus, it's probably going to take more like 7 years. Between the next 7 to 8 years, my research outside of what I'm doing here is going to be consciousness research, uh, which is going to lay the foundation, or not which is going to lay the foundation for an academically accepted pathway that we're already walking here. You see, a lot of the stuff that I'm teaching is like absolutely cutting edge, and there's not even a terminology that exists. There's not even a terminology. But in order to really codify something and to make it really mainstream or make it acceptable by the masses, so to speak, you need an academic framework. Okay, so I already know that for the next 6 to 7, 8 years, it could take that long. Um, there's an academic path in which I'm going to codify that in a way where it can be accepted. Now, this is concurrent with the mainstream becoming more open to this, because when we look into the future through divination, through astrological timing, and so on and so forth, we're on the verge of making spirituality and things that we're talking about right now mainstream. Please understand that this is going to become the new religion, or what I'm trying to say is essentially that this thing that's considered alternative spirituality right now is going to become the new religion. Okay, part of that's going to be astrology and others. Okay, I know I'm being vague here, but please bear with me. I'm sure you know what I'm hinting at. So for the next 7 to 8 years, the academic research on consciousness and codifying that in a way that is reproducible and really scientifically accepted is going to be the focus. After that, which is going to be the second phase, the physical immortality is going to become the main focus. So the biotechnology and everything else is going to be part of that, will be the main research that I'm going to be involved in. So these are things that I'm going to be involved in for the next, I don't know, 20 years, 20, 30 years. It's my life's work, like I said. The pathway has already been created. The consciousness part of it is already covered. Now it's just about making it acceptable to the academic world and making it, codifying it in a way where it can be accepted and essentially taught at a mass scale, which is not easy to do, believe it or not. This is not easy. This is super abstract stuff. And when I started, man, listen, um, have you ever read Crawley, any of you? Or I don't know, have you studied in any mystical orders? The the amount of confusion and the amount of lack of clarity is just fucking incredible. To my knowledge, I am I'm the first one that was engaged in explaining these things and these practices in super clear terms and codifying them in the way where everybody can essentially follow them. Okay. Now, this infinite initiation system is the accumulation of my own practice over many decades, or not many decades. Like how old am I, right? But it's definitely more than decades. And on top of that, the teaching that I've been doing, right? But this is still not academic, because academia requires a certain a certain framework. Okay, and this is it's not that the academic work is going to have any influence on the effectiveness of the system, but it's just about being acceptable to the masses. And after that, the research on physical immortality is going to become the main focus. So yeah, this is definitely part of the plan, and you will in the infinite initiation system, you will definitely learn techniques that prolong life very, very much. But those are energy techniques, energy work where the life force is being harnessed, and um, those are Taoist practices that lead to physical immortality. But I believe technology assisted and biotechnology assisted, these things are going to be even more powerful. But yeah, it's part of the curriculum. Do we have other systems questions here? I want to be able to control and influence all aspects of my life and environment while simultaneously learning the true nature of the universe. Yeah, that's exactly the summary of what we're doing. I want a system to get behind. That's why there's good energy behind this new religion. Thank you. Appreciate it. And this is our thing. This is not my thing. This is our thing. Anyone who's part of it is part of it. This is not something that one person can create and other people just follow it. This is like a living, breathing thing. And every person that is part of it is going to shape it. It's going to mold it. It is going to mold it in a way. That's how consciousness works. And yeah, it's an organization, and organization comes from organs, right? And they interact, and everybody has their place and function, and everything together is a living organism. That's what this is. Good. So I'm going to wrap this up now. Hopefully you got something out of it. Please keep your eyes on the Facebook group. I'm going to make a lot of announcements there for separate groups in which you who are like more interested will receive more information and are part of a separate chat. Good. I'm going to go to sleep soon and see you on the other side, hopefully.